In the 7th century in Medina, 900 men had their throats cut in a single day. Bodies were thrown into a trench. Women and children were sold as slaves. Families were torn apart. And the person who ordered all of this was the man 1.5 billion people regard as a prophet. This story is written clearly in Islamic sources, in Tabari, in Ibn Ishaq, in Ibn Hisham. It's not a hidden truth, but it was never told to you this way. In 622, when Muhammad fled from Mecca to Medina, the city was home to 3 major Jewish tribes, Banu Kurayza, Banu Nadir, and Banu Kurayza. Muhammad made agreements with them. This document, called the Constitution of Medina, promised mutual defense and peace. 5 years later, all 3 tribes had been eliminated. 1 through exile, 2 by the sword. The first target was Banu Kurayza. In 624, immediately after the Battle of Badr, a fight broke out in the marketplace. A Muslim killed a Jew, and the Jews killed that Muslim. It looked like a normal blood feud. Muhammad's reaction was not normal. He held the entire tribe responsible. He besieged 700 people. After 15 days, they surrendered. What was Muhammad's plan? Mass execution. But one man intervened, Abdullah ibn Ubay. A powerful Medinan leader, he was an ally of Banu Kurayza. He grabbed Muhammad's robe, begged, insisted. Muhammad refused at first. Abdullah wouldn't let go. Finally, Muhammad agreed. The tribe was saved. But the price was heavy. They lost everything. Their homes, shops, gold, jewelry workshops, all went to the Muslims. Women, children, elderly, everyone was expelled from Medina. They could only leave with their lives. This was Muhammad's last mercy. 3 years later, in 627, the Battle of the Trench occurred. Mecca had brought an army of 10,000. Muhammad had a trench dug around the city, a new defensive tactic. During the siege, the Banu Kurayza tribe was accused of treason. According to sources, they conspired with Mecca's forces to strike Muslims from behind. The siege failed. The Meccan army withdrew. But Muhammad's work wasn't finished. He gave the order, no one will pray the afternoon prayer before reaching Banu Kurayza. The army marched directly to the Jewish quarter. 25 days of siege. Water was cut off. Food ran out. No one came to help. They surrendered. Muhammad left the tribe's fate to an arbiter, Sa'ad ibn Mu'adh, a wounded warrior, on his deathbed. The Banu Kurayza leaders chose Sa'ad because Sa'ad's tribe, the Aus, had historically been allies of Banu Kurayza. They expected mercy. What they got wasn't mercy. Sa'ad's verdict: all warrior men will be killed. Women and children will be enslaved. Their property will be confiscated. Muhammad approved. You have judged with Allah's judgment. The next morning, trenches were dug in Medina's marketplace. The men of Banu Kurayza were brought. The criterion was simple: genital inspection. If there was pubic hair, death. 13, 14-year-old boys were examined. They had just entered puberty. Hair was found. Listed. It lasted from morning to evening. They were brought in groups, hands tied behind their backs, throats cut, bodies thrown into the trench. Next group, same process. Ibn Ishaq narrates, Hazrat Ali and Zubair were carrying out the executions. A man asked his friend, "What will happen to us?" His friend replied, "Don't you see? Those who are called don't return. This is death." Then his turn came. Ka'b bin Asad was the tribe's leader. When brought to the execution site, he looked at Muhammad. "By Allah, I do not regret being your enemy." His throat was cut. By evening, the trench was full. According to sources, between 600 and 900 men. One day, one trench, 900 corpses. The women and children, to the slave market. A woman named Rayhana became Muhammad's concubine. Others were distributed among Muslims or sold in Syria for horses and weapons. Mothers were separated from their children. Houses, gardens, weapons, gold, everything was plunder. Wealth accumulated over generations changed hands in a day. Now they'll tell you that was the time. The laws of war were different. Traitors were punished like this. Okay, let's accept that. Wars were brutal in that era. Rome did it, the Persians did it. Maybe understandable for a normal commander. But Muhammad wasn't a normal commander, was he? He was a prophet. He was Allah's messenger. He was the source of morality. Sharia came from his life. So the question becomes, shouldn't Allah's moral standard have been different from 7th century Arabian war traditions? What was the crime of a 13-year-old boy? What was the crime of the tribe's elderly? What was the crime of women and children that they were enslaved? They say they committed treason. Okay, who committed treason? If the tribal leaders negotiated with Mecca, why was the entire male population killed? Is this justice or war tactics? Muslim apologists say an arbiter made the decision, not Muhammad. Sa'ad ibn Mu'adh decided. But Muhammad approved that decision. He said, "You have judged with Allah's judgment," and he was the only person who could stop the execution. He didn't stop it. He watched from morning to evening. Some say this punishment was in accordance with the Torah. The Jews were punished according to their own law. So was Muhammad ruling according to the Torah or the Quran? If he was applying the Torah, then where is Islam's universal message? Another defense. Banu Kurayza committed treason during war. Muslims faced annihilation. Okay, but the treason didn't happen. The Meccan army withdrew. Banu Kurayza never attacked. So was the punishment for intention or action? Accept this truth. This was mass execution. It was the systematic killing of 900 people. It was the enslavement of their families. And the person who ordered this was the man Muslims call the perfect human. Banu Kainuka was exiled because they had a powerful protector. Banu Kurayza was destroyed because they had no one. This wasn't about justice. It was about power dynamics. Islamic history doesn't hide this event. It's clearly written in Tabari. It's detailed in Ibn Ishaq, but you weren't taught it this way. They told you the romantic version. Mercy, justice, peace. The truth is different. 2 Jewish tribes in Medina were eliminated within 5 years. One was exiled for economic reasons. The other was massacred in a day. And the result? Medina became a completely Muslim city. This story is in Islamic sources. It's not secret, but what you weren't told is this. If this is what a prophet should do, we need to rethink the meaning of the word morality.